Hello, welcome. Bienvenidos. I was giving it a few seconds to have people join us. My name is Wanda Tapia Thompson. I'm the board chair of the Healthcare Foundation. I'm thrilled to call this noontime meet and greet together. We're expecting over 50 participants. We have an hour blocked for this casual plática conversation with our new executive director, Amy Ramirez. We know life happens, and we hope this space gives you the chance and the opportunity to get to know Amy. So without further ado, I present Amy Ramirez.
Thank you, Wanda. Thanks, everyone. I can see you joining one by one, but I'm just gonna get started. And like Wanda said, we do have a full hour, but we'll see where the conversation goes. And we don't have to take up that full hour if we don't need to. But hi, everyone. I Can people hear me? Apparently not, which is strange. I'm not muted. I wonder if someone can indicate in the chat if they
Hold
can
on a
hear.
second while we are having some technical difficulties with the sound, and we're working on that right now. We do have some questions. Well, we're going to open this up as a town hall. So we're looking forward to hearing what your questions are and your comments directly to Amy. At this point, I still can't hear Amy, but I see that you're on mute. Okay,
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can't hear you. Do you
One
want to come
second.
over here?
I might.
We are working on these technical difficulties. We appreciate your patience. Oh, okay, thank you. That's fine. Okay. All right. Can I hear you now? Amy?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah,
I would
we're
like to
good.
introduce Amy Ramirez, our new executive director. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Wanda, so much. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Yeah, my name is Amy Ramirez. I had a peek at who's going to attend today, and I feel like I know so many of you, and some of you I haven't seen or heard from in a long time, so this is really exciting for me. But I wanted to just give you all a little bit of my background, and I'll keep it brief so we have plenty of time for questions. But I'm very happy to be in this role. I am from Santa Rosa, grew up, born and raised. Basically, my career in social work started in shelter. When I was living in San Francisco, I started at a shelter called the Raphael House of San Francisco. At the time, I was an intern there because I thought I wanted to do teaching, and it was a family shelter. But I totally fell in love with shelter and with the idea of social work. And I actually moved in as a live-in staff member at the Raphael House of San Francisco, which is in the Tenderloin. And I lived and worked there for about a year and a half. And I started as the breakfast cook, and I did laundry and cleaned bathrooms and worked with the families and just kind of really immersed myself into shelter day-to-day life. And then from there, when I came back to Santa Rosa, I started working with Catholic Charities and worked at their family support center for 5 years and learned so much in the process. I did then go back to graduate school in Oakland. And during graduate school to get my master's in social work, I took an internship at Santa Rosa Memorial Hospital and very quickly realized that hospital social work was very exciting and really piqued my interest. So worked at Santa Rosa Memorial as a hospital social worker for many years, about 6 years, and really worked on every unit. So had a chance to kind of see how the whole hospital system works. But the last few years of that work, I was assigned all of the patients who were either dropped off without an identification, traumatic brain injuries that we didn't know where folks had come from, or patients who required conservatorship. And so it was really through that process that I started to kind of put together the pieces of our system of care and what was missing, and felt that I really needed to be sitting at tables where I could advocate for the changes that needed to happen so that folks could move through the system of care in an equitable way. So I had the opportunity to move into management, which with Providence, Santa Rosa Memorial had become Providence during the time that I was there, and started managing a public health program for Providence, and then eventually moved into managing their community health investment department, which oversaw public health programs like the mobile health clinic, the dental clinic, our outpatient case management program called Care Network. And then the majority of what I did for the last few years was administer grants from Providence to community-based organizations. That's really how I came to know about the work of the Healthcare Foundation, because they were a grant recipient, and really just fell in love with the work that the Healthcare Foundation is doing and the approach of the work that we are doing. And who would have thought that now I would have the opportunity to step into this role as the amazing Kim Bender prepares to retire and to move out and to live her best life. That's a little bit about my history personally. I still live in Santa Rosa with my partner, and I have two daughters, 14-year-old and an almost 8-year-old. And those of you who know me know that I love to sing karaoke, and I love to dance, and I love to hike, and I really just enjoy being with people and learning their stories and forming connections. So that is about me. As far as being here at the Healthcare Foundation, I am so excited. I'll just ask myself the very first question, which is, what am I most excited about? I am just now starting my 3rd week in this role, and I'm really just so inspired already by all of the folks that I have met and the organizations, and finding out what they're doing and where they're struggling and what they're excited about, and really just identifying so much opportunity for collaboration. I think so many organizations their strategic vision is aligned, and I'm really just looking forward to helping to piece together all of the different puzzle pieces of this work in Northern Sonoma County and be a support to all the organizations that are doing amazing work to help our most vulnerable. So with that, I think I'm going to pause, and I know we have questions. And I'm going to do my best to navigate looking at questions and answering them at the same time. So let's see if we have any initially. And this is your time to ask questions as well in the Q&A section. I will just start. So what skills do you feel like you will be able to apply from your previous work? I've really had the opportunity to work in a variety of social settings, from shelter to child dependency court to hospital to public health, and the nonprofit world. And so I think the skills I'm able to apply is that I've had the chance to kind of look at our system of care from a macro viewpoint and see like what is working, where gaps exist. And along that journey, I've had the opportunity to make so many amazing connections and build some really trusting relationships in the community. So I'm hoping that my existing relationships, my reputation in Sonoma County, along with my experience and recognition of our macro system of care, are really all going to come into play and hopefully really help me out in this role and kind of guide me toward a clear vision for where the Healthcare Foundation will go next. Okay, let's see. Oh, we have our first question. So this is from Ozzy Jimenez. Hello. Can you give us an update on the Community Wellness Center programming? Yes, I will give you the update the best that I know. I am still learning all of our programs. But we actually are very excited. For those of you who don't know, we have the Healthcare Foundation has supported 3 wellness centers that are all in different places, one in Windsor, one in Healdsburg, and one in Cloverdale. And each of those wellness centers is kind of in a different place on its journey as far as how far along the work is. But the idea is generally social capital. So the idea is to go into the community with trusted partners and find out what the community is longing for. What do they need from a wellness center in their unique town? So all the wellness centers will look a little bit different for Windsor, Healdsburg, and Cloverdale. And what I can tell you right now is that we have some great they've held some great listening sessions, and discovery phase has been done, I think, almost in all three areas. And now we're really kind of looking at brick and mortar, like, are there actual places that could be rented for space now that we kind of have an idea of what each community wants for their unique wellness center. We are going to take a field trip, some of us, this Friday to Pogo Park, which is kind of the wellness center model that we have based these projects on, which is in Richmond. So that's going to be really eye-opening for me to see how the work of Pogo Park in Richmond has come along over the last, I think, like 7 years, and where they're at now. And we're going to take a lot of our community partners from each of the wellness center sites with us, so we can keep moving the work forward. And that's kind of the update I have. I don't have all the specifics of each wellness center, but Ozzy, I know you and I are going to meet, and hopefully I'll have more specific updates for you. Okay, Nicholas Bertzel. Oh, hi, Nicholas from Providence. What are the greatest challenges you see for our community? What priority gaps would you like to focus on? So right before I left Providence, the year before I left, I had the opportunity to lead our community health needs assessment and also our community health improvement plan, which is a 3-year strategic plan based on the results of the needs assessment. And that needs assessment, the results really were not a surprise to any of us who are working in social services. The top priorities that came up were homelessness, housing insecurity, behavioral health, substance use, access to health and dental care, and then aging issues, which was a new top need for Sonoma County. And I think that it's systemic, and I think all of the issues are interrelated. And when you move the dial on one, it moves the dial on all of them. I do think there is some common threads that run between the need areas that I just mentioned, one of them being economic insecurity. I think we all know that this is a very expensive place to live, and there are some huge wage gaps that exist, which affect all of the aforementioned need areas. I also think that there is a theme of racism and discrimination that runs among all of those need areas and creates additional barriers for our BIPOC communities. Here at the Healthcare Foundation, we are really focused on access to healthcare and mental health care, really looking through the lens of how racism and discrimination plays a part in access challenges. So those are really the areas I will be focusing on here at the Healthcare Foundation. But those top 4 priority need areas with the common themes of economic insecurity and racism and discrimination are at the forefront, I think, for Sonoma County right now. Okay, we have room for questions, so. All right, let's see. What is your grant making philosophy? Great question. My grant making philosophy, in my previous role as a funder, and now with Providence, and now as a funder here for the foundation, number one, having a really clear strategic vision. So knowing exactly what you're trying to accomplish, what you're trying to move the dial on over a set amount of time. And all grants administered should really fit into that strategic vision. So just making sure that grants administered are aligning with the work and the outcomes that we want to see. Secondly is really to trust our community partners. I think administering grants that have very low barriers, trusting our partners, becoming the expert on the work that they are doing, and kind of taking that lift off of them so many times, those of us who work in nonprofits, when we go to apply for funding, we're constantly trying to prove that the work we are doing has some sort of return on investment, or that we actually can prove that we made a difference based on criteria that the funder wants to see. And what the reality is that needs are always constantly shifting and changing and very dynamic, and giving unrestricted or low barrier funding actually allows nonprofits to do their best work. So I really take that approach of trusting the nonprofits that I'm working with, or the organizations I'm working with, to know that they are going to best know how to use funding, and really staying in touch with them, not making it their responsibility to stay in touch with me, but to come to them and find out, how are things going? Did things work out how you thought they would? How can we support you? How can we share out your good work? So, taking ownership of being the expert on what you gave funding for. And then looking for areas of collaboration. I think that those of us who sit in funder roles, we have the unique opportunity to see what everybody is doing because they're talking to us or applying for funding. So, being that person who can connect one organization to another and say, hey, you're actually doing complementary or similar work. Is there an opportunity here for you guys to work together and to leverage funding, braid funding, streamline work? So those are my basic grant making philosophies. Oh, okay. So this question says, Kim is very involved in the community-centric fundraising community of practice. Do you plan to continue to bring the foundation into that space? Yes, 100%. So I started researching the community-centric fundraising concept and philosophy a few months prior to applying for this role. I was listening to the podcast Ethical Rainmaker, which, if you have not listened to, I highly recommend for anyone in nonprofit leadership. If you're not familiar, community-centric fundraising basically is a shift in the way that we are funding and raising funds, and it takes away the idea of competition, and it really has this approach of the greater good. So rather than competing with each other for money or for donors or for resources, really working together to say who is actually going to be the best organization or person to lead this work, and how can we all support them? How can we align our strategic plans? How can we make things as easy as possible, like a shared application? There's all these ideas that are starting to come about from community-centric fundraising. And we do have a local community-centric fundraising work group that I'm very happy to be a part of now. I went to my first meeting, I think 2 weeks ago now. And it's very exciting. And there's a lot of nonprofit leaders at that meeting, and it's very inspiring to see that people are on board. People want to be transparent and collaborative. And I think, honestly, that's the only way that the work's going to get done, and that we're going to move the dial on anything, is by working together for the greater good. So thank you for that question. Okay. What are the goals of the foundation related to Spanish language programs? This is from Ellen Barnett with Integrated Medical Clinical Foundation. That's a great question. I don't know. I know that, so much of what we do is really making sure that everyone has equal access to healthcare and mental health care. And so many of the programs that we are supporting through grants or otherwise are working almost exclusively with the Latina population. As far as specifically Spanish language programs, I don't know that I have a specific answer for you, but it's a great question, and I will do some research, Ellen, and let you know. Okay. Oh. Okay. This question says, congrats, Amy. Looking forward to working with you in the future. The mental and emotional health and well-being of our students and youngest residents within Sonoma County is important now more than ever. How do you see the Health Foundation supporting the needs and interests of our students in the next couple of years? From Andriana Duckworth. Yes, I think, I feel like over the past few years, so much of everyone's focus has been downstream crisis-related interventions. And I'm, knocking on everything, hoping that we can start to shift now that we are still very much dealing with some crises, but we may be able to now shift our focus a little bit on upstream investments, which to me really means working with our youth. I think there's a lot of opportunity there. I know that many of the programs we support, such as Corazon or La Familia Sana, are really working with families and youth. And I think there's a lot of opportunity to make sure that we are investing in our youngest community members, because otherwise we are going to continue to try to put Band-Aids on things and to do crisis intervention work. So it is definitely very important to me. And I appreciate you bringing it up as we start to develop our new strategic plan. And I think it's a great idea to call out exactly what we're going to be doing to make sure that a good chunk of our funding is going, and collaboration work is going toward our youth and our students. Thank you. Many of you do know about our mental health talent pipeline program, which is a scholarship program we have for Latina students who are getting their master's in behavioral health programs, most of them MFTs, I think maybe all of them MFTs, so that we are starting to build this pipeline of bicultural, bilingual behavioral health practitioners. And that's only going to just ripple in its impact across our community. So that is a program that I think is upstream in its own way, and systemically is going to have a larger impact in our community. I do have a comment. Kudos on your email and shift away from the paddle raise at Noche de Amor. It's incredible to see y'all walking the walk. Kimmy Barbosa, Positive Images. Thank you, Kimmy. Thank you. Many of you may have received, if you were not at Noche de Amor and saw it for yourself, you may have seen the article come out about why we were not doing a paddle raise at our fundraiser this year, our celebration event. And that really has a lot to do with community-centric fundraising and, shifting from the idea of charity to mutual aid, and really seeing that everybody has a part to play and everybody benefits when we take care of our most vulnerable community members. And so we did not, because of that reason, we really wanted to shift away from this idea of people feeling like they could not make a difference if they could not donate thousands and thousands of dollars. Of course, we are so appreciative of the people who can donate thousands and thousands of dollars. It makes such an impact, but we're also really appreciative of the people who can give time or a small amount every month or whatever they can give. And so we really wanted to put that into practice and make that front and center at our celebration this last weekend. So we did not do a paddle raise or an auction. We did a personal moment of giving, and it was really beautiful. And so many people gave, I think, that maybe otherwise would not have. I know in my own personal experience going to so many fundraisers and events, a lot of times I could only give a very small amount, and I didn't feel celebrated, even though for me it was a meaningful gift. It was much smaller than what was celebrated, and so we really wanted to be brave and celebrate everybody and kind of move things into the direction of what we exemplify here at the Healthcare Foundation, which is really that access to healthcare and mental health care benefits all of us, and that we really are only as healthy as our most vulnerable community member. Okay. It's very strange that I can't see any of you, so I'm just talking to my own face, but that's okay. I feel you in spirit. Here's a question. How can we best support this work? Please don't be a stranger. I am a social worker, always at heart, number one, above any other title. And I need to know what's happening. I think connection and information is so important. So if something comes across in your life or your desk and you're like, you know, who might be interested in knowing about that is Amy over at the Healthcare Foundation, please reach out. I'd love to get together, just brainstorm with you. I think that working together as community is the most powerful thing in the world. And it's really how everything gets done is relationships. So I welcome all the support and I welcome all of the collaboration. And even if you just want to get together and just kind of talk and let loose a little bit, that's great too. Because I think we all share similar frustrations and also similar visions, since we're all clearly dedicated to Sonoma County. Okay, let's see. Congratulations on your new role, Amy. Very excited to learn from you in your new position. How do you see the Northern Sonoma County Healthcare Foundation engaging with community health needs assessment, community health improvement plans moving forward? This is from Saskia. Hi, Saskia. Yeah, great question. You know, it's so funny because before Kim Bender has always, she told me since she took this role in 2020, really looked to the Providence Community Health Needs Assessment and Community Health Improvement Plan to kind of guide, you know, what the foundation was going to focus on as well. So it just felt like such a natural fit having just done those assessments and reports moving into this role. For those of you who do not know, all of our hospitals in the system, Kaiser, Sutter, Providence, and then also the county, and other organizations as well, conduct a community health needs assessment every 3 years, and it's such rich information. We did ours at Providence a little bit different last year. I wanted to make sure that we were really reaching out to voices that previously had not been heard. So we did contract with On the Margins to do some listening sessions, and I made sure that our key informant interviews were with folks who were not just executive directors or heads of organizations, but people who really had their eyes on boots on the ground and what was actually happening day to day. So the most recent assessment is really rich and really full of valuable information from underrepresented voices. So it will continue to guide the work that we do at the foundation, along with Kaiser and Sutter's assessment, which should come out later this year. I think that we have so much rich information right here from our own county that to pull from and to learn from. I know a lot of times we will look to hire people from outside of the county to do, you know, feasibility studies for us or to do assessments, but I really believe that the assessments being done here locally are the ones to look to as a guiding beacon. So we absolutely will keep looking at those assessments as a guiding post. Okay, let's see if I'm keeping up. Here we go. Hi, Amy. I appreciate your comment about supporting organizations to collaborate to serve our community. At the Center for Wellbeing, we love collaborating with our nonprofit partners to advance health equity across Sonoma County. What would the foundation's process be to inspire and encourage organizations to work together? Come join community-centric fundraising. I think that's number one. I think the more nonprofit leaders we have attending those work groups, the better, because then I think we're all going to be on the same page and we're all going to speak the same language as far as collaboration. So I invite you, Carissa, or anyone else who's leading a nonprofit in this area to jump on the community-centric fundraising bandwagon. I think that's kind of a step one. Also, just not being afraid to pick up the phone and call. I'm a very transparent person. I've always operated by being transparent, being collaborative. When I worked for Providence, I actually would meet with co-funders at Sutter and Kaiser, and once a month we would get together and we would talk about the grants we were administering, challenges we were having, and that collaboration meant everything. We did so much more good than we could have done in our own silos, and I think that same feeling is what's coming through with the community-centric fundraising work group. So I think that's a great first step. Okay, looking forward to working with you, Amy. Loved volunteering last weekend at Noche de Amor and hearing from you. I'd love to know, what direction do you envision the foundation to look like in 2029 in your 5-year plan? That is a big question, Molly, but I'm going to answer the best I can. I'm 3 weeks in, and so right now I'm really like in a discovery phase and meeting with so many different organizations and individuals. But what's really starting to come up for me is this idea of, we have to figure out how to make our nonprofit partners as sustainable as possible. And there's so much government funding now happening through CalAIM and Drug Medi-Cal and state funding that's starting to trickle down and really become talked about in Sonoma County. And like Drug Medi-Cal, hopefully very soon we will be one of the counties contracted to have that kind of reimbursement. I was running a CalAIM program for Providence, so I'm pretty familiar with what it takes to run enhanced care management or community support program. And so right off the bat, what I'm seeing is so many organizations that probably could start to get some good reimbursement and become more sustainable. But the lift to get that process going and to keep it going with the amount of reporting and going to meetings and billing and all the things that come with it, that's what's lacking. So again, this is just me on week 3. So, I know this is being recorded, but my first initial thoughts are, how can we start to support our organizations that have potential for sustainable funding? How can we help them build up the capacity to start that work? See if any new questions have come in. Don't see any. This is your chance if you have any questions. Oh, here comes one. Yes. I think I know it's being written. Okay. Yes. We're going to share my email in the chat. Also, it would be great, maybe we can share the community-centric fundraising link in the chat if you're able. If not, we'll get that out. And I've had a lot of people, say, oh, I know you're busy, but please do reach out. I don't want to miss an opportunity to meet anybody. And we can, even if it's weeks out, I'd love to get time on the calendar with you. Oh, great. So we have the community-centric fundraising link in the chat, and then my email. Any other questions? Wish I could see all your faces. I can see your names. I can see who's here with me. So thank you. Oh, here's one. Okay. Aside from fundraisers, what opportunities are there for nonprofits to interface with you and the Healthcare Foundation team? And this is from Andrea at Ceres. please don't wait for a fundraiser to interface with me or the team. We are here. We are here for the community. So please just reach out by email. We other than our large Noche de Amor event, we do have smaller events throughout the year. And as I get to know all of you and what you're passionate about or what you're working on, it will help me know who to invite to those smaller events. Also want to make sure that everybody is on our newsletter distribution so you can stay up to date on what we're doing, what we're working on. But it does not need to be that formal at all. So please just reach out because I would love to connect with you. All of these are answered. Oh, and it looks like we have the link to our newsletter in the chat as well. Thank you. Okay. I see. What do you see as the biggest challenges for this role? I think that I don't know if it's unique to this role. I think we are all experiencing the challenges of kind of what we're referring to as this fiscal cliff of a lot of funding streams running out now. It is also an election year. I think that there's a lot happening in the world. The world scaling down to Sonoma County and then Northern Sonoma County. So I think the challenge really is to, and I don't even know that it's a challenge. It's an opportunity to be creative. I think it's more important now than ever to be creative and collaborative because I think there's not enough, unfortunately, money to go around for all of us individually. I think we're going to have to start to really be strategic on how we align if we're going to actually make a difference and make an impact. So, and that's what really is the most exciting about being part of this foundation is that's our sole job, right? Is to really support the folks doing the work. So I don't know, it's a challenge in the sense that fundraising is somewhat new to me. I'm definitely more comfortable on the funder side, but it's an opportunity and I've already received so much positive support from the community that I feel like together we're really going to get it done. But probably it's going to look different and I think that's a good thing. Okay, this says, I don't have a question, but I want to thank you for taking the time to connect and share your thoughts and ideas. I look forward to continued collaboration from Kristen, Alexander Valley Healthcare. Me too, Kristen. Yes, thank you so much. And thank you for all that you guys are doing at Alexander Valley Healthcare. And I know that you have some big work to do over the next few years as well. Okay. There's still time. People want to stay on and ask questions. All right. Well, I know you guys are all very busy folks, and I'm so appreciative of you being here today. Like I said, I wish I could see all your faces, but I really appreciate the thoughtful questions and encouragement. And I hope the main message you take away today is that I'm here, I'm excited, and I want to work with all of you. So please reach out and I will be reaching out to you as well, most likely. I think, do we just close it out? Are we done?
Mary.
Okay.
We'll sit down.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. If you think of a question later, please just reach out to me now that you have my email. And I hope everyone has a great rest of their day.